soon as he said that, I suddenly realized all the numbers that I've been seeing were 222 and 333. Hi everyone, this is Jen and welcome back to my channel again. I just want to thank you guys so much for all those who commented on my last video and shared your thoughts about the September 23 rapture and the journey that I'm going through. I have a quite busy day today. We're gonna head to the city and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna kind of babysit someone because our friend's moving and they need help with their daughter. So we have 3 kids to take care of. What is this little fly? It's getting really hot in Brisbane. It's a really beautiful day. Suddenly it was really cold a few days ago and now it's like t-shirt weather. I'm just wearing this just in case because I get cold when there's air conditioning. But anyways, before I start rambling, I had about 5-10 minutes. My husband's giving me like 10 minutes while he takes care of the kids in the car, but I wanted to do a really quick update. And that's why I love this channel, because I can just sit down and share whenever I have a thought without like having to prepare for like an hour, set everything up, and I can just get my phone out and just film anywhere I want to. So I really love it, and I'm really grateful that some of you guys have watched my last video, which I didn't actually publicize on my public platforms. I don't know, Holy Spirit didn't lead me to doing that, even though I did think that I would. I didn't. So it's completely a new audience. Like whoever I'm talking to on this channel, I know that you guys probably don't know me from who I've been online so far. So yeah, I'm open to where the Lord is taking me with this. Okay, so since my last video, which was actually only about 2 or 3 days ago, a lot has changed. My stance has changed. So 2 or 3 days ago, I was teeter-tottering on the edge. I wasn't sure totally regarding the rapture on September 23, 24, whether I'm mid-trib or pre-trib. To be very honest, most of it was because of my husband's influence over me. He was going through a season, I guess, where he was being very, very careful and very cautious and somewhat skeptical, just in case we mislead anybody in our life around us. But through the past 2 or 3 days, we've been searching, we've been seeking God, we've been studying the scriptures, listening to some teachers of the word who really delve deep into, you know, the root words of certain verses in the Bible that pertain to harpazo, a secret hidden taking of his bride. In particular, there was someone online who I was led to. His name is Dave Cull. I watched just one of his videos. I might link it down below if you want to. I do really recommend it. I don't agree 100% with everything he says. For example, I just have a sort of different idea of when the Jewish day starts. It's at sunset or sundown to the next sunset and sundown, but so the watches of the night thing was a little bit different, and there was like one other thing, I believe. Yeah, he was saying just because the people say that the UN is meeting regarding peace and safety, suddenly he's coming. He was kind of refuting that, but my husband and I kind of have a different view on that, I think, because my husband used to work for the UN, so he looks through the agenda of the meetings, of the upcoming meeting, and he can see that this is not just a normal one. You know, it is not just a normal UN meeting. This is high level, not even publicized. They are talking about the 2-state solution. Without blabbing too much, because I don't have time, literally I only have 5 minutes. So I have completely felt the confirmation in my heart through my studies of the word and through just Holy Spirit speaking to us, my husband also, and we went back and watched Brother Joshua's videos from the first video to the second, and we didn't get to the third, but first and second, or maybe we did get to the third. I was just making cupcakes last night, and while I was making them, my husband was sitting on the sofa and he was just listened to it with the kids going crazy. We're able to just really pay attention, and I think what really caused us to want to go back and just watch it again with a fresh, clean slate was because the first time we came across it was when, like, it was just the first time that we'd ever thought, we'd ever heard of this thing. And so obviously it was a very new and fresh revelation, and we was just like, wow. And then for anyone who's been on this trail since the videos came up and Joshua has shared it with the world in June, you know, there has been a journey that we've gone through, and the mainstream influencers and pastors and leaders of congregations, they were quiet on this topic for a long time. But because so many people obviously have been talking about it and asking them about it, they couldn't just keep quiet about it for long. So obviously they've had to address it, even though you can tell that they probably didn't really want to. They eventually addressed it, and many of them have come out and said that it is not happening. They've expressed very strong opinions about it, including some leaders, prophets of God, who I have followed for a long time, like over a decade. Yeah, because I don't have time to go into it in this video, something about that triggered a red flag in my husband and I, because we have this sort of red flag meter in our spirit. It's like a check when we know someone is not being truthful, or someone is speaking with a predetermined agenda, when they're speaking with some sort of a bias. We can sense that. And so something pricked up and we were like, okay, we should look into this again. We started to waver in the middle and think, okay, maybe it's not right, but we've come full circle and now we are totally in peace. Watching Brother Joshua's videos with complete clean slate, no preconceived judgment or bias or date setting trauma, which is what he says. I think that's true. And just being really open to the Lord and having the studies. I'm blabbing, I'm sorry, but we have been fully convinced that the date is set. It is appointed. I want to quickly point anyone to some scriptures which hint to this mystery of this hidden day. So I think one of the main factors for me to be kind of amazed and convinced that it is so is that I found out through Dave Cull that Rosh Hashanah, the Feast of Trumpets, has another name, and it's actually Yom HaKaseh is the name, and it actually means the hidden day. It's just so amazing. I will link a website that explains it down below, so have a look into it. There are literally hidden scriptures throughout the Bible, and I do believe God did this deliberately. But anyway, so there's Zephaniah 2 verses 3, there's Habakkuk 2 verses 3, it's all 2-3. The fact that Leviticus 23, which is about this feast, is literally 23 and it's verses 24 to 25. I'm not into numerology, but at some point just cannot be coincidence. And God is the God above everything, and he's the one that created numbers. He created how people align the numbers to the verses. I don't know, it's just so crazy. But anyway, I'm not talking about numbers right now. Look up these verses if you're looking into whether there is going to be a pre-tribulation rapture, kind of a hidden day. Jesus does not appear to the world, but he comes to take his bride. He doesn't set foot on the earth like he does at the Mount of Olives when he comes back as king. In Revelation 19, it mentions how he comes back as king with diadems and on a white horse and with the bride, which is heaven's armies behind him. That is a completely different thing from the rapture, in which we will be changed in the twinkling of an eye and will be raised. The dead in Christ will rise first and will be raised and will meet him in the air, it says. So I'm fully convinced now that they are two different things. It does not make sense that it comes together, that there is a rapture of the church together with his second coming. It just does not make sense biblically when you see a lot of things. Maybe I'll go into it in another video, but I don't have time here. But I wanted to give you guys one more update. There's another sign. You guys know, if you watch my first video, you know that I asked God for confirmations regarding his message to Joshua being from Jesus. I wanted to check that it was the Jesus that I follow, And so in that video, I mentioned two dreams, one that my son had, who's 5 years old, and one that I had a few days ago. And I said that I wanted a third confirmation, and I wanted it through my husband. Now, my stance on this has changed because I realized that every person has a different faith, and every person prays to God in a different way and asks for confirmations in different ways. So I realized that my husband has his own faith and his own way of asking God for a confirmation, and I need to just ask it for myself. So I've let go of the confirmation having to come through another person. The moment that I did, actually, an hour later, I was just getting ready today and I realized something suddenly. I suddenly realized that God has actually been confirming it to me for the past few weeks, and I just didn't pay attention to it and I didn't realize it because I'm not a numbers person. I mean, I used to be an accountant at one point in my life, but I don't love numbers. My husband is a numbers person. I don't remember numbers. I never remember the pricing of things that I bought things for. I always have to check with him or check with my son or something. He remembers numbers way more than me. But I'm not a numbers person. And also in the past, when people kind of mentioned that they saw numbers here and there, sometimes I was a little bit skeptical about it. Not skeptical, I'd say I'd be cautious about it because it reminded me of, let's say, those who are in the new age or witchcraft and they're looking for certain signs from the universe and they see numbers everywhere or letters everywhere. Not to say that I completely put it down, but that was the sort of background that I had. And so I never really was one who asked God for confirmation through seeing numbers everywhere. But the thing is, a few weeks ago, it started like a month ago, I'd say, I started seeing triple numbers everywhere. Okay, not everywhere, on my phone with the time. It was literally specifically only with time. So every time I just pick up my phone to check the time or check how much battery I have or if I've got a message. I'm not always looking at my phone either because I'm so busy with my kids. My kids always have it or it's just on the counter somewhere. But I just happened to pick it up and I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating. A few times a day, I would see triple numbers. And I started seeing this like a month ago. I didn't think much of it, as I said, because I don't want to be someone who like just goes with my feelings. I'm not putting anyone down, but I just didn't want to be that kind of person who takes signs from things that I just want to see. So I was just like, wow, I'm seeing a lot of triple numbers on my phone with the time. And it was like a few times a day. So it progressed to me telling my husband about it just as passing comment. But I'm seeing all these triple numbers. I don't know why. And then a few weeks would pass of it. Every day it's happening. And in the past week or so, I got to a point where I'd just pick up my phone and it's there and I just put it into my husband's face to show him. Just with a little bit of a laugh, you know, look, 111, 222, 333. Sometimes it'll be 1222. You would see the 222 there as well. But then like 2 hours later, I'd get exactly 222 as well. Oh no, my daughter's here. I'm almost done. Yeah, I have to go. But basically, I would see these triple numbers and it really clicked suddenly to me today. I was like, I think I kind of disregarded it because I didn't want to rely on something that's so unreliable and it's just like someone who's looking for a sign or something. But I was not looking for a sign like that. As I said, I'm not into like numbers. I know that Satan's camp does a lot of numerology, but also I do know, of course, our God is the one that made numbers. Numbers have meanings to it. When we have dreams and there are numbers in it, you pay attention to it. The numbers all throughout the Bible, they have meanings to them. Same with colors, same with words. And so I realized that I need to lay that down and be open to God. But I wasn't even thinking about it really. I was just getting ready this morning and I was listening to something. Actually, I was listening to this other prophet who came on Sent Twins channel and they uploaded a new video today. I think, you know, true prophets are never popular. They may not even be that charismatic. They may not speak so eloquently, but they carry the mantle and God actually chose them and God is using them. And they've never been popular. They've never been accepted, even by God's people. They've been murdered throughout the years. But and there is a Bible verse that says that I sent my prophets to you, to the church, but you killed them. So it is, anyway, that's a side note. I did want to add it in there though. Anyway, he was mentioning something about seeing numbers. He sees 77 and 84, which is, you know, the dates that I mentioned in my last video. And he sees 23. As soon as he said that, I suddenly realized all the numbers that I've been seeing were 222 and 333. I didn't say this with my own mouth. I just thought it. My husband walked into my room and I said, hey, Oppa, do you realize the triple numbers that I've been seeing? Do you realize what numbers they are? And he said it immediately. Like he never even said it. He was thinking it to himself. He didn't even share it with me. He said 2 and 3. I was like, yeah. But to be clear, sometimes I saw 1112, but it was mostly 222 and 333 the past month or so. And I suddenly realized, God, you actually answered my prayer from a long time ago, but I just didn't even realize it. You have been giving me confirmations. As I said, I'm not a numbers person, but he's giving me confirmation through numbers. Leo's dream had the number 7 in it. 7 days, 7 years that we're going home. My dream had numbers in it. It was 21 to 25. I was given the knowledge in the dream. It's not the numbers at the ends, which is 21 or 25, but it's going to be one of the numbers in the middle, 2, 3, or 4. I don't know, guys, I'm not a numbers person, but God is a numbers God. He made numbers. Numbers are symbolic. Numbers are important to him. Revelation is a whole Bible is filled with numbers. I don't know. 2, 3, guys. 2, 3. Anyway, I'm so excited. My husband and I know that it's very, very likely that we're going to be raptured on September 23 or 24 in Australia. We're going to be opening the live stream of the Feast of Trumpets in Israel. They're doing it live this year for the first time, I think, which is crazy. And Brother Joshua is going to be live streaming that day for the whole day because he says he's 1,000,000,000% sure and he wants the world to see so they can believe it's Jesus. And I've considered maybe I should also live stream maybe the last like 20 trumpets or something, so that if it does happen, I won't just suddenly disappear and be missing in action on Instagram, on my social media, and people will be like, they won't even realize. Actually, it really takes a long time to realize someone's missing from social media, and I can't post anything to say I'm gone, right? So I thought maybe if it does happen, it would be good if people can see it, that we just disappear. Then it cannot be refuted by any. It will help them to not believe the deception that will be explained by the world, which is most likely the alien abduction thing. Anyway, what about you guys? For those of you who have the faith that September 23 is going to be our time that we are raptured, what are your plans and how are you living these last few days until the countdown? How are you planning to spend that day? I'd love to know. I'm going about my day as usual, but I'm also aware of when God would want us to reach out to someone or share the gospel with them. Every day he's actually sending us people to minister to, whether it be our friends or distant friends that we suddenly get back in contact with and share the last days with them. And a lot of them are really listening. So, you know, my sheep hear my voice. It's really unexpected who his sheep really are, actually. Some of them were just fallen asleep. But as soon as they hear his voice, the ones that are his, that really desire to know and follow Jesus, even though they may not have been perfect, they will listen and they will heed it. I have so many testimonies of this that I could share in another video, but it's already 23 minutes. 23! Oh, it's 23 minutes, so I better go. But hope you guys have a great day. Subscribe, follow me on Instagram at MeechMuse, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! God bless.